हामिद मीर साहब ने हमें ज्वाइन किया। मीर साहब बहुत शुक्रिया वक्त देने के लिए। की जानिब से इस तरह से रवैया जो अपनाया गया, इंटरनेशनली कोई उसको सपोर्ट नहीं मिली, तो फिर अब आखिरकार भारत ने हद ही पार कर दी गुज़िश्ता रात, क्या कहेंगे?
इस वक्त इंडिया में बड़ी बौखलाहट है और मुझे सुबह से 3-4 फोन आ चुके हैं। मुख्तलिफ इंडियन जर्नलिस्ट जो हैं वो मुझसे ये पूछ रहे थे कि ये कौन सा बालाकोट है, ये खैबर पख्तूनख्वा वाला बालाकोट है या आज़ाद कश्मीर वाला बालाकोट है, कहाँ पे हमने बमबारी की है। मैंने उनको बताया भाई आपने कहीं पर बमबारी नहीं की। आपको अगर किसी ने ये बताया है कि आपके तैयारों ने बमबारी की है तो वो गलत बताया है। वो अंदर आने की कोशिश की उन्होंने, लेकिन पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स ने उनको भगा दिया है और उन्होंने जो अपना पे लोड है वो एक खाली गांव है, उसका नाम भी बालाकोट है, उसमें वो फेंक फूंक के वापस चले गए। तो उसके बाद फिर मुझे एक और फोन आया, वो बहुत मशहूर खातून सहाफ़ी है इंडिया की और बड़ी जिंग्विस्टिक हैं और जंगी जुनून फैलाने में वो हमेशा बहुत अहम किरदार अदा करती हैं। तो अब वो बौखलाहट में वो अजीबोगरीब मुझसे बातें पूछ रही थी, कहने लगी वो जो पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स हमारी एयरफोर्स के पीछे लगी है तो हमारे अंदर तो नहीं घुस जाएंगे वो। मैंने कहा ये मुझे नहीं पता कि वो आपके अंदर घुसेंगे या नहीं घुसेंगे, लेकिन वो भाग गए हैं तो आप जरा पानी वानी पिए, आराम करें और ऐसी कोई बात नहीं, आप फिक्र नहीं है, फिक्र की बात नहीं है। अब मैं पाकिस्तान में बैठ के तो आपको तसल्ली नहीं देता। तो ये असल में वहां पे उनका एक ख्याल था कि ये इंडियन एयरफोर्स जो है वो मुजफ्फराबाद सेक्टर के रास्ते से अंदर आएगी और मे बी उन्होंने जो खैबर पख्तूनख्वा वाला बालाकोट है जो लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल से काफी दूर है, शायद उन्होंने उसी को टारगेट करना था फॉर सम रीजन। हालांकि वहां पे तो कुछ भी नहीं है, वो तो 2005 के जल्जले में तबाह हो गया था जी। तो लेकिन उनकी वो कोशिश कामयाब नहीं हुई है। अब उसके बाद उन्होंने देखा कि पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स ने फौरी रिस्पॉन्स दिया है, वो काफी परेशान है और उनका जो मकसद है वो हासिल नहीं हुआ। यहाँ तक कि जो उमर अब्दुल्ला है वो भी अब उनका मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं। उमर अब्दुल्ला भी कह रहे हैं ये जो बालाकोट है ये तो लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पे है। और एक सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट हैं निरुपमा सुब्रमण्यन जो इंडियन एक्सप्रेस की एडिटर हैं, उन्होंने भी यही बात कंफर्म कर दिया उमर अब्दुल्ला की। तो अब मेरा ख्याल है मोदी साहब की जो एम्बेरसमेंट का एक नया दौर शुरू होगा। अब ऑपोजिशन उनका मजाक उड़ाएगी और जब उनको बहुत ज्यादा एम्बेरस किया जाएगा ऑपोजिशन की तरफ से तो मे भी हो सकता है कि वो मजीद कोई एडवेंचर करे। इसलिए पाकिस्तान को होशियार रहना चाहिए।
बेशक मीर साहब, जिस तरह से आपने कहा कि पाकिस्तान को होशियार रहना चाहिए और यकीनन पाकिस्तान की फोर्सेस होशियार हैं और भरपूर जवाब देने को तैयार हैं, ये बताइएगा कि भारत को अंदर से भी कोई सपोर्ट नहीं है, अपोजिशन भी और साथ साथ दीगर जो पार्टीज़ हैं वो भी डिवाइडेड दिखाई दे रही हैं, तो क्या कहेंगे भारत ने ये सूरत हाल अपनाई है, ये फ्रस्ट्रेशन की वजह से है या फिर सिर्फ इंटरनेशनली सपोर्ट हासिल करने के लिए?
नहीं, ये मोदी साहब का ये ख्याल था कि इलेक्शन करीब आ रहा है तो उसमें उनके हालात काफी खराब थे। जो कुछ इंडियन स्टेट के इलेक्शन है उसमें बीजेपी को मतलूबा कामयाबी हासिल नहीं हुई जो वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे। तो उसके बाद उन्होंने ये एक एडवेंचर करने का फैसला किया है और अब तो भारत में बहुत से जो उनके रहनुमा हैं वो ये इल्जाम लगा रहे हैं कि ये जो पुलवामा वाला हमला है इसकी इंडियन इंटेलिजेंस को 7-8 दिन पहले से खबर थी, लेकिन उन्होंने इस हमले को रोकने की कोई कोशिश नहीं की। वो चाहते थे कि ये हमला कामयाब हो जाए और CRPF के लोग मारे जाएं ताकि उससे वो कुछ सियासी फायदा उठा सकें। और बड़ी खुल्लम खुला बात हो रही है इस पे। और इस पर जो उनके साबिक एक मिनिस्टर हैं चिदम्बरम, वो भी खुल के कह रहे हैं कि भाई आप इसमें पाकिस्तान पे क्यों इल्जाम दे रहे हैं। तो अगर आप कंपैरिजन करें तो इस सूरत हाल पे पाकिस्तान में ज्यादा पोलराइजेशन है, यहाँ पे हमारी हुकूमत और अपोजिशन में ज्यादा लड़ाई है, लेकिन इंडिया के साथ कन्फ्लिक्ट मैं समझता हूँ कि क्यों करना पड़ा है। इसके मुकाबले में अगर आप पाकिस्तान में देखें तो पाकिस्तान का जो मीडिया और पाकिस्तान के जो पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स हैं उन्होंने ज्यादा मेच्योरिटी का मुजाहरा किया है, जबकि मोदी जो हैं उनकी उम्र काफी ज्यादा है, उनके चेहरे पर सफेद दाढ़ी भी है, लेकिन वो खासी इमेच्योरिटी का मुजाहरा कर रहे हैं।
इमेच्योरिटी का मुजाहरा कर रहे हैं। बहुत शुक्रिया हामिद मीर साहब, इफ्तिखार अहमद साहब, नसीम ज़हरा साहिबा, आपने हमें तमाम सूरत हाल से आगाह।
India says its military has carried out airstrikes targeting armed groups in Pakistani territory. Pakistan says the planes carried out the attacks after crossing the line of control into Pakistan-administered Kashmir. A member of Pakistan's military tweeted these pictures said to show damage from the strikes. Tension between the two countries has been rising since a suicide bombing killed at least 40 soldiers in Indian-administered Kashmir earlier this month. We'll speak to our correspondent Fez Jamil in New Delhi in just a moment. But first, let's go to the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, where our correspondent Kamal Haider is standing by. What more are we hearing from the Pakistani government about this incident, Kamal?
Well, first of all, what the Pakistani military is saying, that Indian aircraft crossed into Pakistani-administered Kashmir in the Muzaffarabad area, and that is, of course, the capital of Muzaffarabad, where we were just a couple of days ago. And then the Pakistani aircraft were scrambled and tried to intercept the Indian aircraft, who then turned back, dropping their payload, which is normally a maneuver if you're going to gain speed, and went across the border back into Indian airspace. So that is what the Pakistanis are saying, that the Indian aircraft were forced to drop their payload. They do, however, say that there were no casualties on the ground, nobody was killed, and that these ordnances from the Indian aircraft fell over remote areas, uninhabited areas.
So no reports of casualties or damage, but how serious an incursion is this, Kamal, and how is the Pakistani government likely to respond to it?
Well, this is indeed a very serious incident. The Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi was due to fly to Jeddah, where he had called a Organization of Islamic Conference a meeting to discuss the tensions between India and Pakistan over Kashmir. That is now cancelled. He has summoned all the foreign envoys in Islamabad to an emergency meeting that is going to take place within the next half an hour. So we are indeed hearing that the Pakistani response is going to be strong. Pakistan has already said that it does not want a war with India, that it wants dialogue, peace, because war, it said, is not an option. The Prime Minister of Pakistan also coming strongly saying that we have to give peace a chance. But Pakistan, on the other hand, ready. The Air Force chief visiting his forward air bases. The Pakistani military chief also visiting the front lines to boost the morale of his troops and to tell them that they should be ready for any Indian attack.
Kamal, thank you very much for that. For now, that's Kamal Haider live in the Pakistani capital. Let's go to Fez Jamil now. He's joining us from the Indian capital, New Delhi. What is the Indian government saying about this, Fez?
Elizabeth, they're not saying much right now. They're being very tight-lipped. India's cabinet is currently in a security meeting right now. And media reports have said that they put the Air Force on high alert across the border with Pakistan and the line of control in Kashmir. Now, what we do know is from media reports has been just that the strike took place at about 22 GMT on Monday. That's 3:30 in the morning India time on Tuesday. But as far as what Kamal was saying, though, that there is some confusion now where the strike took place. Now, if this was the Balakot in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it might be more serious. But there's also a Balakot in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. And a tweet just came out from the former chief minister of Indian-administered Kashmir, and he says basically the same thing, that if the strike has taken place in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it's a serious incursion. But if it did take place in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, then it's mostly symbolic, as these camps are usually abandoned in the wintertime. Now, the target of these strikes have been armed groups that have openly threatened India, and India says that they will target, the foremost one being Jaish-e-Mohammed, that's responsible for the suicide bombing that killed 40 paramilitary soldiers earlier this month.
And Fez, how much pressure has the Indian government been to do something since that suicide bombing in Kashmir?
Well, they've actually been under a lot of pressure from the voters and also from internally as well from the government. In September 2016, India carried out what it calls a surgical strike, targeting camps of armed groups in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Now, this was hailed as a big success. They made a movie about it recently as well. But it also set the benchmark of what the Indian public expects when a major attack happens against Indian forces. So this attack was expected, and one of the reasons it was delayed was the visit of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to the region. But everyone did expect that this would somehow happen sometime soon, especially with elections coming up in April.
Fez, thank you very much for that. For now, that's Fez Jamil with the latest lines out of India. We are going to get more on this. We're joined by Uday Bhaskar, retired Commodore in the Indian Army and the Director of the Society for Policy Studies, and he's also joining us live from the Indian capital. Mr. Bhaskar, always good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. From what we know about this attack so far, what do you think the Indian government's calculations would have been in carrying this out?
India has sent a very firm signal. The fact that air power has been used for the first time against a terrorist target, to my mind, is a signal to Pakistan that India is demonstrating resolve in terms of using military power, particularly air power. And the second element is also a degree of restraint, because the reality of this military operation is that in the early hours of the morning, India was able to launch its fighter aircraft, who acquired a terrorist target in what is called as Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on the other side of the line of control, and delivered their payload and came back. So I think this is the signal that has been conveyed to Pakistan that after the Pulwama attack, where we lost more than 40 security personnel, Prime Minister Modi had assured the country in India that there would be a response. And we have seen that response this morning. But it is also, I think, embedded in restraint, because the aircraft and the operation was restricted to targets related to the terror infrastructure within POK. And it did not in any way threaten any other aspect of Pakistan's territorial integrity. And I think that is the subtext which I'm sure that between Islamabad Prime Minister Imran Khan and Rawalpindi, the headquarters of the Pakistan Army, they would be studying very closely.
And is India ready for a response from Pakistan?
Well, I think the professionals would have factored in a response, because Prime Minister Imran Khan also went on record in his country to say that in the event of an Indian military action, that there would be a response from Pakistan. So I think the Indian planners, in their matrix of various exigencies, as they call it, there is a template. They would have alerted the air defense and all elements of the Indian military, because I think this can lead to a certain escalation depending on how Pakistan responds. And if I may add, Elizabeth, in a very sort of unexpected manner, this is also going to test a certain formulation that has been long held, that because Pakistan has nuclear weapons, they would not be under any kind of, shall we say, anxiety, and that India would not take any military step. I think that particular formulation is being tested in what we are seeing today, that yes, India has demonstrated resolve in terms of using air power, and now the ball is in Pakistan's court as to what they propose to do. So this is, I think, in 2019, a very interesting case study of testing nuclear deterrence, if you will, and whether or not it would proceed in the manner that most experts believe that it would. So I think this has got another dimension.
Is it also, how worrying a time would you say it is, given that tensions have been so high between these two nuclear-armed neighbours?
Any use of ordnance at this level is cause, I would say, for a certain degree of anxiety and concern. And I think India has been repeatedly trying to signal that it has been a very restrained power, so much so that globally a lot of people were asking this question as to how long will India continue to take this kind of terror strikes. We had Mumbai in 2008 and Pulwama in 2019. And in between, there were many other terror attacks. And I think Prime Minister Modi had conveyed, both to the international community and to his own people, that it is not that India cannot respond, but we were exercising restraint and reaching out to the Pakistani establishment many times and expecting that Pakistan would behave in a manner that the international community expects, which is not to support terror groups. So yes, the use of air power does introduce a certain dynamic into the nature of the military tension that now prevails between the two countries. And I think Pakistan's response would be very instructive in terms of to what extent it's willing to go to support a terror group that has been identified and is on the UN list. And the international community has already signaled, we've just seen a statement from major capitals asking Pakistan to rein in its support to terror. So I think between Islamabad and Rawalpindi, they will have to decide how valuable a terror group is to Pakistan in the current day and age.
Mr. Bhaskar, thank you very much for your time, for your perspective on this. That is Uday Bhaskar live in New Delhi.